Good afternoon and welcome. Really delighted to have with me today Tom Nix, who's the CEO of Scala. Tom, welcome. Thanks very much for coming. Now, a couple of questions on Scala very quickly. How's business going?
Business has been really good. 2015, we saw some tremendous growth both in Europe and in the US. In Europe, we saw year-over-year growth of over 50%, and in the US, over 30%. And a lot of this was driven by multinational retailers. Many of our multinational retail customers have come to us from other systems, and primarily they come to us because of the stability, the scalability, and the experience that Scala has. But most importantly, we're one of the vendors that could really reach the four corners of the earth. So that's one of the reasons why we had such a great year.
Good, that's good to hear. I mean, it's very true. Scala probably the best known brand in the space. You've been around for 20, 24, 25, 26, 27 years or more.
28 now.
28 years, I got that wrong. Which is great, and you are a global brand and you do reach the four corners of the globe. Retail is a focus now more than anything else, you think?
Well, retail is a big part of our business, and historically, Scala, by being the first company to offer an enterprise digital signage platform worldwide, we have customers in every known vertical, and those customers are blue chip brands throughout the world. But what we've noticed is that retailers, just on the sheer size, number of stores, number of retailers in different countries, have started to adopt digital signage and digital communications because they need to really engage their customers and give their customers opportunities to connect using their mobile devices. And so this has been driving a lot of retail adoption, and I think it would be fair to say that the companies that are involved in retail are growing rapidly. So it's really, that tide is lifting all the boats. And so we still do a fair amount of business in corporate communication, transportation, digital out of home, but retail is making up a huge part of our growth.
And that's probably reflected by your stand. We've had loads of people on the show today and yesterday saying great things about your show. A lot of content people, the experts in this space, have said how great it is because it's something in context. You've got the mobile app, you've got the coffee ordering system, some lift and learn stuff. Tell us a little bit about your stand.
Well, that's great. That's a great compliment to hear from the content people because our team works really hard at executing at these events. And when we are at these events, what we're trying to do is not necessarily show features, but we're trying to show people how you can take an experience and really connect everything, the screens on the wall, the mobile devices, and have something that's measurable and optimized. That's the most important thing. And one of the areas in our booth that a designer is not going to say, wow, that was awesome, is going to be the metrics area, where every single experience that we have is being measured and analyzed so that we can show the customers that come by and experience what we have on display, how effective those solutions are.
You were one of the first, I think, to look at the big data side of things and the analytics stuff. You started a couple of years ago. I think you've probably been in the role maybe 2 or 3 years when you did that, or maybe earlier. But retail analytics, you think is still one of the big drivers?
Yeah, we see that when you look at large retailers that are adopting digital, they're thinking not just in 5 or 6 screens per store, but 20, 30, 100. And so when you start to come up with those large endpoints per location, the bigger challenge becomes, how do I manage all the communication and content that needs to go to those screens? And then how do I make sure that the content is doing this versus this? And that's usually the first question we ask our retail customers or the retail prospects that we engage is, do you know if your information is doing this or this? And when they can't answer that clearly, it's really an opportunity for us to come in and help them understand how to measure the effectiveness of their content so that it achieves the objectives that they set out to do, which is really the basis of their business case.
Now last year you put on a very, very good event, exclusive event, San Francisco, I think, specifically for retailers?
It was an event that we sponsored, and so we took it upon ourselves to create this event, and it was called the Retail Evolution Summit. And what we were able to do, we're bringing together experts from around the world, from the retailers themselves, to the people that design the retail environments, to the digital agencies that imagine the shopper's journey. And so we brought these people together in a exchange of peer-to-peer experiences, and the event was a huge success, and we had a great turnout. And what we got as feedback from our international customers were that it was hard to get as many people to one city. And so what we've done and what we've decided to do is to have those events on a regional basis. So you'll see more Retail Evolution Summits that we will be sponsoring in the next 6 to 12 months, and they'll be in strategic cities like London, New York, and Tokyo.
Good. We've only ever heard good things about that event, so that's a good thing to do. Now, the other thing that you do, I mean, cynics could say that your stand is particularly good because you do so many of them. I think actually it's a combination of the fact that you do lots of shows, lots of vertically focused shows, but you do have the experience of out there in the real world, which is why I think your stand shows such cleverness in the way it works with context. How many shows do you typically do in a year, and what's your focus?
Well, because we're multinational and we have offices in the major regions around the world, we support the local events that are either focused on digital signage or focused on retail or focused on digital communications. So last year, I think we did about 12 shows. This year, we're probably going to do about 11 shows. And what happens is not just the experience that the team generates, but the team itself has such a deep understanding of how our software can be maxed out and really showcase some of the amazing things. So for example, at our booth, if you go by it today, we have two basic lift and learn solutions where you pick up a product that has RFID identification and now you get specific information triggered, or you can do comparisons, and that's amazing. But yet then the whole wall that it's on moves and another totally different solution comes up. And so these are all powered by our software. We're controlling the lights, we're controlling the movement of the screens. It's pretty amazing, and so the team that works on that, they're exposed to so many projects. So when it comes time to planning these shows, Harry Horn leads the marketing organization, our services organization leaders come together and they work in such a great way, and they come together and they execute at such a high level. These shows not only help us from customer acquisition, partner acquisition, but our team. When you look at the Scala team and you look at the people that are working as hard, they get so much satisfaction out of putting together such an innovative experience like we have here at ISE, that they just come away with so much energy and enthusiasm. So it's very valuable for us.
It's very visible. It shows. I think it's a good asset to the show. So ISE generally, it's a 4-day show this year. You got any specific thoughts as an American on the 4th day?
It seems like there's an opportunity to look at the data behind last year's show and the previous year's show. I would say that 4 days has considerable expense associated with it. We never feel like we have enough time for all the conversations when we're here. Our stand's always busy. We're seeing partners from all over Europe and all over the world, and we're talking to customers. But 4 days is a lot, and when you think about what has to happen before and after, it's a lot of time for people to be away from their families, and it's a lot of time for an organization to be out of their office and not focused on executing some of the business objectives that we have. So I think 3 days was fine. I think 4 days is a challenge.
Okay, well, we'll all see on Friday, and we'll all have a different opinion about it, I suspect. Is there any one thing that you've seen at the show, a trend? If you walked around, you may not have had a great deal of chance to look around, but if you look at the display manufacturers, or is there anything you've seen that's really caught your eye as something moving forward?
Well, I heard about it before I came here. So I was talking to a multinational retail brand that we work with that's in, I think, 90 countries, and they were talking about bringing in higher quality, impactful experiences inside the store. And one of the things that they were looking at and starting to test was high quality LED displays. And so when you look at what, LCD does a great job, and there's opportunities now with innovative shapes, but when you look at things like this backdrop here that's moving behind us, this tight, high definition LED is amazing, and retailers more and more want to set themselves apart in that in-store experience, and the 16 by 9 aspect ratio doesn't always do it. I think you were one of the first people to kind of talk about shape is really the way that you have to kind of get people to really experience the space. And so I think when you look at what, especially what NEC is doing here with the 5 mil, when you could take this and really dress your environment and make your environment not only architecturally beautiful, but engaging to your customers and being bright and energetic, I think that's the big trend, is this type of LED. And we're seeing it in other environments as well, but I'm hearing it from the retail community. And they usually don't spend a lot, and they're investing in this type of technology.
That's nice to know that retailers are looking at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. Tom, thank you very much.